Hello, and you are listening to FPcast, the podcast for Fruitless Pursuits, where we bullshit about the week in pop culture. I'm Luke.
And I'm Jacinta.
And this week we're talking about...
Movies, television, collectibles, video games, comics, books, board games, and more.
Beasties!
Nifflers. Have you ever had an experience with a niffler?
Not in my memory.
Never.
Not that I remember.
Never had a quick niffle while no one was watching?
Well...
If you're confused as to what a niffler is, don't worry. We are reviewing Fantastic Beasts and where to find them.
Yeah. Like, it's not just the beasts. It's like a guide.
And one of those funny things, because when we talked about that trailer, we were like, whoa, you won't find Fantastic Beasts here. Trailer was devoid of Fantastic Beasts. I go into the movie thinking, it might be like a pumpkin with a face drawn on it or something.
Yeah.
There's beasts everywhere. The movie's jam-packed full of Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
So that is...
To the gills.
Definitely, if you're looking to find some Fantastic Beasts, go no further than your local cinema and check that one out, because it is jam-packed full of beasts. Beasts wall to wall, filling up the whole screen. I don't think there was an inch of screen that didn't have some kind of beast
I had
on it.
beasts sitting next to me. They're
all
in
the
front of me,
time.
behind, everywhere.
They were...
I was so excited they couldn't stop talking.
Oh, there are a couple of filthy old beasts to the left. Couple of filthy old baggages that were obviously having a lot of trouble keeping up with J.K. Rowling's prose and were commenting on absolutely everything that happened, explaining the film to each other, repeating back some of the more hilarious lines. Very packed cinema, so we weren't actually close enough for me to say or do something, which I think was probably good. But I'm surprised they survived. I'm surprised the people around them didn't murder. I mean, they were a couple of old baggages. Didn't look like... I think maybe people were thinking, perhaps they won't last the movie.
Yeah.
Perhaps one of them will die.
Drop off in the middle, yeah.
Mid-sentence, but no, it didn't happen. So, Jam-Pack Show, we're reviewing that. We're also reviewing Bad Santa 2, which I'm finally allowed to talk about after seeing it a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to catch up on a lot of TV. We both have seen some new things, something I'm very excited about I want to talk about. Then we also finally checked in on our favourite leading ladies, Hayley Atwell and Michelle Dockery, and their new shows.
Yeah, we did.
Something happened in Westworld, so there should be a more enthusiastic fuck yeah Westworld at the end of the episode. I'm playing Pokemon Moon. There were 3 really nice trailers. There's even a tiny bit of news. Holy shit, I don't think we've had this much spread out before us in a long time. So shall we dig in to this
fuck it up
pop culture buffet? Look in the old Baie-Marie. I want to say marine, but that's just if it's seafood. It might just be a
seafood restaurant, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so Amelia Clark. You and I know her as Dany's...
The Mother of Dragons.
Mother of Dragons. Gave birth to 3 little dragons, quite big now, in Game of Thrones. Also appeared in some other things, like Terminator Genesis.
Wasn't she in that? Was that Me Before You? That was
yes.
this year, wasn't it?
I haven't watched that.
No.
Yeah, no, we should probably do that in case it's going to be on our top 10 list.
I don't think it's going to be, but I do have an interest.
So she has been cast in the Star Wars spin-off Han Solo movie alongside Eldenrich. Aaron Reich.
Is she going to be playing Itchy or Lumpy?
Itchy or Lumpy. Hopefully Marla, I would think, Chewbacca's wife.
Okay.
So I think you're in the right area. We have seen her naked a lot. She's not especially hairy.
No, but
But they might shave her a lot during Game of Thrones. You can always tell by the eyebrows.
And there's... special effects have come such a long way since the 70s.
Yeah.
That they can just digitally hair her up.
Well, the 70s were a very hairy time.
They were.
So,
allegedly. I wasn't there.
Yeah. So, you know how people will shave their head or something for a role?
Yep.
Or they'll put on weight or lose weight?
Yep.
I think she'll just stop shaving.
Okay.
And I think she's going to
Sprout.
make a great Marla. Of course, if you don't know who Marla is, she's Chewbacca's wife from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Which I watched for the first time last Christmas, and let me tell you, I regret leaving it that long. It was fucking
It was so
great.
good, yeah. It's a plum roll, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, I don't think something that has changed is that she's not necessarily going to be home in the tree with the apron on, fretting about what the heroes are doing.
Yeah, it's not the 70s. Like,
No.
the world has changed.
I think Chewbacca could take his wife out on an adventure, and I wonder if Han Solo has ever sort of thought, maybe they get drunk one night and there's a little bit of a three-way, because actually...
Has a little bit of rummage through the bushes.
Yeah, well, we had that news as well during the week that Carrie Fisher confirmed that Han Solo and herself had a very torrid affair during the filming of Star Wars.
Yeah, which, while I think that obviously infidelity is awful because he was married and had kids and everything at the time, my little shipper's heart sang with joy.
Yeah,
I was very happy at that news, and then I felt really bad about feeling happy about that news.
Isn't watching Star Wars going to be even better next time? Because you're just going to be looking at them and going, oh...
They were fucking...
It was on. He was in her trench.
Yeah.
He fired a torpedo. Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Yeah. Apparently it was only in while they were filming the first movie, and apparently it didn't carry on for the other two, but surely... He
does grab a tit in Return of the Jedi when she gets shot in the arm in the bunker. And, and I think he's only that familiar because he's been in her bunker before. So I don't know, I think we sort of knew that was probably the case.
Yeah, it had never been confirmed though.
No. So I think the big news would be if we found out that Rey and Han Solo had an affair.
Oh.
You never know. Wait for her book in 30, 40 years' time. So Emilia Clarke in Star Wars, sure, great.
Yeah.
But I am sort of amazed by, this is sort of news where you hear an actress that is a popular actress is being cast in a thing. And you go, cool, look forward to finding out more about that. But I'm amazed and continually amazed by just how conservative fans are. Like, it's so funny, like, certainly in election time, there's always this sort of microscope on being conservative and all these people are really rigid and awful, but fans of this fun, light pop culture entertainment, basically ice cream, are so conservative about stuff. On our very own page, we've got someone going, well, why, don't make the movie at all, kind of thing. Like, don't watch it.
Yeah,
it's
don't
fine.
have to pay your money and go and see it. No one's forcing you to watch it.
No. And what if it's good? If it's not, you've got nothing to lose. Like, I love RoboCop. Love RoboCop. So when the new RoboCop came out, it wasn't looking great to me, but I went and saw it and I didn't enjoy it, and I haven't really thought about it since. It's probably the first time I've mentioned it, and it's okay. I'm not angry about it. It didn't ruin RoboCop for me. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And if it had been good, that would have been great as a fan of RoboCop, because then I would have had more RoboCop. Yeah, and which is how I feel about Ghostbusters. Fan of Ghostbusters. There was more Ghostbusters. They cast current Saturday Night Live people, and I went, great, this is really fun. So I don't see that. But then also, even more than that, like on Ain't It Cool, for example, the talkback is saying things like, someone's going, I bet you at some point young Han Solo says to her, or to a female lead, I love you, and she says, I know. The reverse. And then someone's going like, oh God, that would be awful if that happens. I really hope that doesn't happen. And of course they're going to put a feminist spin on things, just like they do with everything now. And it's like, holy shit. Like, why would you be worried about something like that happening? Like, why would it even...
Yeah, I hate equality. Equality's fucking shit.
Oh, but even without that, even if, like, I don't know why you would be, like, female characters have things to do. Oh, I want men movies from back when I don't understand that. I don't know why you would feel insecure about that. But even so, I don't know why you would even expend the energy to type, oh, I hope that doesn't happen. I would hate it if that happens. And that person will then make a show of, like, fucking groaning in the cinema or something, and then going and typing more, complaining about it. And I'm like, aren't we adults? Like, is that really a thing that's gonna upset you? Yeah. Crazy. I didn't get that. And I also want to say as well, because there's been questions throughout the net, including our own sites, and I don't mean to say this in any sort of condescending way, but I'm sure it'll be construed as such, that, there's a question of Emilia Clarke's not always a great actor in things, but I feel like anyone who's reached a certain level can act. And it really is about directors. I come to this with a tiny bit of knowledge, having studied theatre for 5 years and worked with professional actors for 10. But, like when I did ScarJo A Go-Go, you see how her performance can absolutely fluctuate depending on who she's working with. And the worst performances are always with the most inexperienced directors. And then when you get it with Coen Brothers and Zweigoff and everybody like that, it's good. It's like if you've ever seen someone from a soap opera like Home and Away or something on that show and they're just awful and you think these people can't act, and then you see them in a Bell Shakespeare production and you go, holy fuck, they're brilliant. So did they suddenly just learn to act and then went back to Home and Away the next day and forgot? Or is it the fact that it's a completely different environment?
Yeah.
When you turn up to those things, they're done piecemeal. You're not doing it in order. You're only invested in what you need to be invested in. You might be shooting 7 days out of the whole month shoot or whatever. And you've got no control as an actor what the finished project is.
Yeah, and I think those soapy sort of things, they just churn through them so quickly that they might do 2 takes at a maximum. Like, you hear stories of them doing the scene and they think they're just kind of doing the run through and they're like, no, great, that was it, let's go. And they're like, whoa.
But even in big movies, I mean, you see it with photography. I know from just doing photography as you would, there's a thing of how epic you make someone look just by the angle and the proximity and everything. Someone can be doing a killer performance, but if you don't get that photography right, they're going to look silly.
It's really funny. I was watching like a music video show yesterday, and you're familiar with Bruno Mars,
yes,
the Uptown Funk guy. He's about the size of a 4-year-old child. Like, he is a tiny man. And I was watching his music video, just acutely aware of how they were shooting him and how everyone around him was kind of crouching over and making him look big and important. And I'm like, oh man, whoever is directing this is doing a fucking great job, because he looks cool.
And it's why costume shots always look awful when when they don't do that epic sort of thing. Also, I was criticising some of Benedict Cumberbatch's performance in Doctor Strange, saying that it was some of the drama was overplayed. And I said then, like, it's not that I don't think he can't act. Of course he can act. I don't think the director, who was probably intimidated by him, was shooting that scene in a way where everything rose to the performance that he was given. Like, if he was going to shoot it and put it together that way, he needed to pull him back a little bit, or he needed to raise the stakes and get in and raise everything to that level. So it was where the actor's doing something in good faith, but it doesn't align with what the final vision is, in my opinion. So, yeah. Anyway, should be great. Inhumans. Inhumans, Marvel's Inhumans. These are kind of like a set. Do you know much about these dudes? You would only know really through S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah? So characters...
Daisy and her friends.
Yeah. So this isn't about them. This is about Black Bolt and Medusa and stuff. So these are kind of 60s Fantastic Four heroes. They're kind of like an alternate Fantastic Four. They've got superpowers and they live in some special place, and we're talking Black Bolt, who's the guy that wears the crazy black suit, and if he like even whispers, he'll fucking blow up a house or something. I don't know. He's like pretty powerful words, sort of like what we have here.
Yeah.
Medusa's got like long hair and can tangle people up and stuff. And pretty good substitute for Fantastic Four, really, this group. And they were on Marvel's film slate. They were going to be, in a couple of years, they were going to get a movie. Turns out they're not anymore. Instead, it is going to be those characters, though I assume not Vin Diesel as Black Bolt as originally intended. But it's going to be an ABC TV series, just like S.H.I.E.L.D.
But isn't IMAX is putting money into it and it's going to be shown in
the first
IMAX or
2
something?
episodes are going to preview in IMAX in cinemas in September next year. So my immediate thought is, ABC, all that network stuff looks pretty awful. Like, S.H.I.E.L.D. does not look fantastic. Although I did see a bit of Ghost Rider and I did think that looked pretty cool. But then I guess if they're going to get cinema money off it, then maybe more. That's because defraying the fact that more money is being pumped into it. So I don't know. I've got that's really left field for me. I've got no idea what it'll look like or feel like or who they would even have in it. But I am certainly curious to see those characters.
Yeah.
There's some cool characters there.
Yeah, and I'd just like to readdress Ghost Rider as well. When I was reviewing those first couple of episodes and I really didn't like the actor and all of that, he has gotten a lot better. Like, he's definitely part of the team now and I'm really enjoying him. He was very stiff to start off with. So I am Team Ghost Rider now.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of people are stiff to start off with. And so Inhumans, looking forward to that because I have some experience in that. I have been in Humans a couple of times.
So gross.
Thank you. Trailers. Should we talk about trailers?
Sure.
You wanna head us off here?
Yeah. So Skull Island. So that first trailer was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Really cool images and all sorts of shit. New one's cool too. There's a big kind of apocalypse now sort of. It is set in the 70s, I think.
And quite comedic though as well, which I wasn't expecting, with John C. Reilly doing a bit more of a wacky character.
Yeah, so we get a little bit more of the characters, a bit more monkey, a bit more music, all good.
There is a certain vibe with the posters and everything that definitely does remind me of the Gareth Edwards Godzilla, and this is a continuation in a way, isn't it? Like a spiritual sister film, isn't it? Still legendary in putting this thing on.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I thought it was the same sort of production team. But, God, you know what? Like, these 3 trailers, I'm going to just say the same thing for all of them. They all look like, yeah, great. Eye candy, they all look good.
Yeah.
Because Ghost in the Shell is the other one.
Yeah.
Which I think, of course, I'm going to think it looks really great. But
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with that. I'm not really into anime anyway, but I'm not familiar with that anime. And I sort of watched the trailer and I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that looks fine. But then I saw it, someone had put it side by side with the opening sequence of the anime, and it's shot for shot that. And it was like it looked good as an adaptation of that. That looked cool.
Yeah, it looks faithful. And I think that's definitely their campaign at the moment because of all the criticisms of casting Scarlet in the first place. Now showing, because don't they keep showing the guy that did the original manga or whatever going, oh, this is cool, this is what I wanted, etc., like supporting it. So, I think that looks great. And then we got Beauty and the Beast. As well, trailer.
With a proper look at a lot of those
again looks really faithful.
Other characters. Yeah, a lot of people are kind of been giving it shit, going, "Oh, it just looks like a shot by shot remake of the original," and it's like, yeah, and like that's cool. Like it's a completely different kind of skill set that they're using to make it. Like, make it fucking shot by shot. I don't care. I don't think it is going to be because I think there's new songs and stuff in it, so it's not going to be completely shot by shot, but. Yeah, I think it looks great, and I love that they kept that fucking "what if she is the one" thing in there. That just made me laugh so much. I'm coming a bit 180 with that. I hated it at first, but now I'm like, you know what? I love it. It's awful, and I love it. It's
an unenviable position because fans just get upset if you change it, and they get upset if you don't.
Yep.
Like, it's like Watchmen. Oh, it was too faithful. And then they've changed the ending. It's like, well,
what do you want?
Which one did you want? The only thing that surprised me just as a comment is that I was hoping to see a little bit of Gaston sort of humour and bluster, whereas they instead showed the, quite a serious brr, let's kill the beast. But I guess that's the tone of this particular trailer.
And we'll get there.
And look, this is my real criticism.
Yes.
Mrs. Potts, too small. I want to see that big teapot booty.
Yeah,
I want to be because, I usually get attracted to a character in these big pop culture things. Mrs. Potts, tell you what. Oh.
What about, are they going to have a little sexy feather duster?
Oh, I think, I think I've seen, she's in, the entertainment, maybe in the Entertainment Weekly photos you can see her or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty hot too. I wonder who's doing her voice. Probably Ewan McGregor as well, because he's so good at the French.
He's so great at accents. Well done to him.
So those were trailers, but really, the bulk of this episode, let's talk about stuff we've actually seen. We've got a lot to review here. So, starting with Fantastic Beasts and where to find them.
We found them.
We found them on the big screen. Now, what's the context here? Neither of us are big Harry Potter fans, right?
No, I just feel like I enjoyed those first couple of movies, like the kind of wonder of the discovery of the world and that sort of thing, but I wasn't really a fan from about the third one on. I just kind of I miss the Harry Potter boat, really. And once you're not on it, I think it's hard to kind of get on board with it.
Plus, you see who's sitting on it, and you're like, oh, you know, this is going to be a long voyage. Do I really want to join them?
I still I'm not really into Harry Potter, but I still signed up to Pottermore to find out all my houses and my Patronus and all that sort of shit, though.
Well, Suzanne did as well, and then I did.
Yeah.
But I did it a bit later. So, come on, let's hear it. What's your house?
My Hogwarts house
Is Hufflepuff.
is Ravenclaw.
Yeah, Hufflepuff, did you say?
No.
Okay, sorry, what is it?
Ravenclaw.
Ravenpuff.
I'm not a fucking Hufflepuff.
Okay.
Shove it up your ass.
Okay, Ravenclaw.
And then...
Is that what Harry is? No, Harry's a Gryffindor.
Yeah, he's a Gryffindor. And then I did when they did the American one, the Ilvermorny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
American
one.
School. Coming to cinemas near you in the future, I imagine.
I can't remember what it was actually, because it was like Thunderbird or Firebird or some sort of fucking stupid bird thing. And then I did my Patronus, and I was hearing the stories of what everybody else had for their Patronus.
No one's I've heard has been particularly happy with their Patronus.
I was really excited to find out what my fucking Patronus was. You answer all these questions, and then this glowing thing comes. Your Patronus is a hummingbird? Are you fucking kidding me?
A hummingbird.
My 2 houses and my Patronus are birds. I fucking hate birds.
I was trying to tell you something.
I am so I was really genuinely very upset when my Patronus was a fucking bird.
Suzanne's was a basset hound.
I was hoping for a dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I got put in Slytherin.
Yeah, okay. See, Slytherin aren't the bad guys.
No.
They're just the misunderstood guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like this. And I also got put in, like, Horned Serpent, I think, in the American one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
And my Patronus was a white swan.
See, that's kind of cool too.
Yeah. Because I am a delicate flower.
You are.
I am a unique snowflake.
Yes.
I am very precious. Not like that movie. I'm working on it. So, yeah.
We're not really Harry Potter fans.
No, I did go and see all the Harry Potter movies in the cinema, and I'm fine with them. I looked forward to seeing them, but I don't love them. And the reason I don't love them is because I'm not attached to any of the characters. Like, there's no one that I go, oh, I really love this character.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The first couple, it's discovering the world and finding out how all of this works. And then after, maybe 3 or 4 or whatever, it's not really about that anymore, and it's about following these characters and their kind of journey. And I'm like, well, I don't care about them, so I don't really care what happens at the end. Like, at the very end of the last one, when kind of Neville does his thing, I'm like, wait, which one is Neville again? Is he like the little fat one from the first movie?
Oh, it's like them trying to make me feel sad because a Weasley brother died. Like, I'm fucking stoked.
I'm like, which one is it?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I hate those two.
There's so many of them.
What a couple of turds.
I know, exactly.
I mean, Gary Oldman was alright, but apart from that, what have you got? Or, like, I guess as well, Alan Rickman, but that's because he's Alan Rickman. Like, you just feel like he just hasn't cut his hair, basically.
Yeah.
So, this one is a prequel, and I went in with, not a prequel to Harry Potter so much, but a prequel in the fact that it is set in 1927, I think, and in New York, and Eddie Redmayne is Newt Scamander, and he's got a suitcase full of fantastic beasts, and he's in New York, and all sorts of crazy shit happens. And I was expecting this to go about as well as the Star Wars prequel / Hobbit. Somewhere in the middle there, where you just kind of go,
yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, but
maybe a 3 out of 5.
And you have a lot of problems along the way, but I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I loved it.
I really
liked
enjoyed
it way better than any other Harry Potter thing, which, I feel kind of bad saying, but it's true. I came out of this feeling like kind of just zingy and excited about, I'm not going to jump into the fandom and start buying all the pop vinyls and shit like that, but I liked it. I can't think of too many things about it, apart from one thing, that I didn't like about the movie.
What was that one thing?
Oh, you know what that one thing was. When the movie came to a screeching halt for about 30 seconds towards the end.
I can't remember.
Are you sure?
No, tell me after. But, I didn't have any problems with it either. I think it's a lot more accessible than the Harry Potter universe. I think that it's that will be the criticism, I think, for a lot of the fans, that maybe it's not as ambitious and that the story's not as involved and intertwined. But certainly in terms of a, like, big blockbuster that is... goes along at a pretty good clip.
And has, like, engaging characters that you feel connected to. Like, that's the big thing with these movies.
And really great set pieces and some really genuinely sort of enchanting, magical sequences and scenarios. And to give it credit, even though we gave shit to those trailers, there is so much that you have not seen from the trailers. Like, huge amounts. You really haven't seen anything from the trailers at all. They've kept everything tucked away, and it was so great to see all these creatures for the first time, to see these big sequences that I had no idea existed. You know, they didn't put little snippets of them in the trailers or anything. Even to see his kind of TARDIS, for want of a better description, because there's a lot of Doctor Who about this character.
Yes.
We had not seen any of that in the trailer, and that was absolutely wonderful to see his world for the first time.
Yeah, Newt does definitely feel like Eddie Redmayne getting to play the Doctor as he would have played the Doctor.
But and he's not as affected as I thought he was going to be. There's something more grounded about it than I thought. I thought he might be... You know how some of the Doctors can be really affected and really start to go over the top and drop all these, like, one-liners and cut to a character rolling their eyes and going, "Oh, Doctor." And that didn't happen in this, which I really liked. In fact, the cast are used very well, and this is something that I think we probably even will get into when we talk about some of the TV stuff that we watched. There is something just so classy and engaging about seeing people in the past, like 1920s kind of look.
Yeah.
Because
there was a lot of elements of this that really reminded me of, like, Brooklyn.
Yeah,
From the start of the year. There was
yeah.
definitely quite a lot of that, and I love that movie.
Because, like, Dan Fogler, who plays the non-Madge, the Muggle, the no-Madge.
Oh, God, honestly, like...
Not easy.
No-Madge, ugh.
He was brilliant. Really loved him.
Mm.
And then when I had to look him up, what else has he been in? He's like the fat, sort of stonery guy from Fanboys, which I fucking hated. I hated him in that. And you look at his IMDb picture, and he's got a t-shirt and a hoodie and a beard and a, like...
He doesn't look anything like he does in the movie,
But in the movie, he was so endearing, and I'm like, why can't everybody just be 1920s style? It goes back to that thing of, like, I'm really learning a lot about the transformative power of hair. Mm-hmm. Because we saw this with Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah.
You know, you look at him in Deus Ex and you think, oh, he's this kind of guy. And then you see him as Poe Dameron and you're like, oh, shit. And you think, well, are we living our lives
as the best version of ourselves?
With Ex Machina hair when we could have Poe Dameron hair. And then I quite like Tina, who's got the short, dark flapper hair. She's the female lead. I'm like, oh, Tina, you know, she's very attractive. Didn't realise she was in Inherent Vice, which we watched. She had long, sort of dyed blondish hair. She's naked in that film. She's the first time we see her character early on. She's completely naked, and I didn't think anything of her in that. But you put the short, dark flapper hair on her. I'm like, well, hello, 1920s. So, you know, I know that we don't have fashion fads that are as clean cut as the past, mainly because the internet and everything is accessible, and you can find, you know, I'm sure there are people that dress up like they're from the 1920s every day. But why can't everybody do it? Why can't we inject a little bit of class into this thing? Because wonderful. Like, everyone was just fantastic.
How ironic.
They were also the Fantastic Beasts. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really wanted to see where it went. I think that kind of similar to how I felt about Ghostbusters, that the actual sort of villain plot, while having a bit of interest, wasn't really the main thing for me. That was a kind of a sideline. I was more engaged in getting to know the new characters. Yeah,
I did actually enjoy the villain storyline because it wasn't, like, you know, it wasn't a clear-cut...
It was dark.
Yeah, actually, it was very dark for what I assumed was going to be a Harry Potter-esque kidsy kind of movie. There's a lot of sort of darkness with people getting, like, beaten and all sorts of stuff. But the villain had, shades and nuances and was interesting, I thought. Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I recommend it. I did notice when I put on Letterboxd, the reviews that were sort of sitting underneath on the page were not great. And someone said something like the horrendously poor use of CGI or something, which just made me
Are you joking?
I know. Like, what's with people? Why?
This is probably the best use of CGI I've seen in a movie all year. It was beautiful.
Well, it's about suspension of disbelief anyway. Like, special effects in movies have never really been about sitting there. If you're sitting there going, does it 100% convince me that it's real? Like, that the creatures are CGI. But they're so endearing. Why would you not go along with the story? When you watch Empire Strikes Back, you know those Tauntauns aren't real. They look jerky as fuck, but your suspension of disbelief, your magic of being in that world and seeing this place and being engaged with the story, you go along with it. That's why I don't understand people bitching about CGI, because none of the effects prior to CGI looked any more real or any more convincing. You were just willing to go, I'm here to see a story, rather than look for holes to poke. I'm going to sit back and enjoy the story.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think all of these creatures were very, very charming.
They all had, personality and weight and,
And I'm going to say this as well. Credit where credit's due. I hadn't realised that Rowling had written it. I thought maybe she got the writing credit because of that book she wrote earlier. Or maybe she came up with the story, and I was expecting other screenwriters. I can't see anybody else credited on IMDb or anything. I think there's something maybe about our generation where we haven't been that into Harry Potter, like you said. Like, we go, it's okay, but we're almost apologetic for it. Whereas, just that slightly sort of younger people are like, oh, we fucking love this because they were the right age. To her credit, she really is the real deal, I think. Like, to be doing this for as long as she has been and still growing and doing, like, really solid stuff and really inventive stuff compared to the other, like, blockbuster shit that's out there. Because if you compare this to Percy Jackson or something like that, and the way those monsters turn up, and usually there's just a little bit of a thrash around battle and that's it. Compared to, no spoilers, let's just say the bit with the teapot. You go, these are really inventive, enchanting ways to deal with these big creatures on the screen. And full credit to her. Like, a lot of people get sort of worse and worse as they go, especially when they have lots of money. Because when you take that sort of hunger away, you can have anything you want. Sometimes there's not a lot of feeling behind it, but this was probably the first thing where I've gone, oh shit, like, that wasn't a one-off. Like, she's pretty solid. Like, this is pretty good stuff. So
and to go from making essentially stories for kids to making this, which does feel a lot more pitched at adults.
And she has written adult novels in between. So, there's a certain level of sophistication on top of it, I think. It's not so much like funny names for jelly beans and things, but, it's not like there's a huge amount of... there is some emotion in there, but not like a huge amount. It's very much... I do feel it's a blockbuster sort of adventure. But the stuff that is there is quite sophisticated, I think. So, really pleasantly surprised. The only thing I would say is, don't forget that this is the full sort of Rowling, like a novel adaptation kind of feel. So you are looking at a movie that's got to be at least 2.5 hours, So it does have that big epic thing, and I don't think I was anticipating that. So... although it does move on at quite a clip, like, do be aware that it is a longer film. I kind of wish I'd gone in with that mindset of, I'm about to see this really big, epic, like when I sit down to a Lord of the Rings or I sit down to one of the other Harry Potters or whatever. Whereas I felt like this, I went in, I don't know, feeling like this was more of like a gap filler. And then went, oh, no, this is like a really big film. So... do that, because I did think there was someone behind that went, oh, is it still going? on one of the many endings.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, it's definitely now a franchise that I'm keen to see the other 400 movies that they're going to put out for this. What is it, like another 4 or another 5?
5? I think they said 6.
Yeah,
But
right.
then, of course, at any point they can just go, well, let's set a story in the American school. And
Which again, that'll be interesting because it's like opening up that world to a new, opening up a chapter and you're learning something more about this world. I like that stuff.
yeah. I think what's the most significant about this, in terms of what you're saying there as well, is that this turns it from Harry Potter to the Harry Potter universe, just in the way that we've got the Star Wars universe or the Marvel universe, and they needed that. Like, all the studios are going to need their huge franchise, which they can
their
constantly
playground.
iterate on, and this is it for them. And I think they successfully made that transition. Like, to put it in America and not go, well, we're back in Hogwarts and it's another Hogwarts story or whatever. Anything that would have made you feel like, oh, this isn't as good as what we had before, or this is a lesser retread or whatever, would have been a problem. But this was different enough and changed the scope. And I think, like, this movie has a lot more money in it. It feels like that to me. Like, there's so many shots where in the background, just all the magic that's happening, like all the bits and pieces that are flying around and doing things when they're in these magical areas. It's a lot more lush than the earlier films. So, yeah.
And I think you really don't need to... I think to enjoy this, you need a vague idea of how Harry Potter stuff works, but you don't really need to know a lot about it.
No.
Like, there's not a heap of crossover. They mention Dumbledore, they mention the Lestrange family, but that's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of, like, as long as you know that there are wizards and they are, and the humans don't know about them, that's pretty much all you need to know.
The only thing that will shoot you in the foot, and I would say this for really any current blockbuster, is that if you are that totally embittered, cynical person that spends a lot of time writing about how things look terrible or how you didn't enjoy this or that or whatever, because... like anything, I can imagine sitting there with a cynical mind and just fighting it the whole time. And if you're going to go into the movie and just fight the thing, I wouldn't bother. But if you're going to just let go and go along with the ride and enjoy it, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably nearly a lock for my top 10.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know if it's... there for me, but it's definitely in the top 10 like blockbuster films I've seen this year.
I think just in terms of, because we see so many films now that for a film to make me feel kind of something after it, like, that's getting rarer and rarer. Most of the time you see a movie, you go, oh yeah, that was fine, but to walk out and kind of be excited by what you've just seen, that's, I guess, for me, that's rare, and especially on a Friday night after I've been at work all day and I'm very tired. I think it's definitely a lock for top 10 for me.
And as we said, these are more informed top 10s this year than ever. I'm at about 110 films this year in terms of 2016 releases.
Yeah, I'm at 80 odd something.
So we have seen a lot of things. And I caught Bad Santa too. Context for this is that Bad Santa is my favourite Christmas movie. I really genuinely love that film. I love how reprehensible Billy Bob is and how irredeemable. And I really love Thurman Merman, the kid. And sort of, the heart that the film has, what he brings out of Billy Bob, and he doesn't necessarily change him, but I think it's a really clever film. The original is directed by Terry Zwigoff, who did Ghost World and the Crumb documentary, and I think he is incredibly good at handling misfits and bringing something, like some sort of empathy out of the story. Whereas this one was not directed by him. The sequel's directed by... I can't remember the dude's name, but he directed Mean Girls.
Okay.
And Freaky Friday as well, with the Lindsay Lohan one. A lot of Lindsay Lohan films this guy directed. And so I would say that if you haven't seen the first Bad Santa, I probably wouldn't even... Like, you've got to start there. Like, see that one for sure first, and see how you feel about that before you'd even contemplate going and seeing the sequel. If you love the first one, like I did, and if you didn't love the first one, definitely stay away from the second one. But if you loved the first one and wanted to check this out, I think it's nowhere near as good, unfortunately. What I respect about it and what I like about it is that it keeps with the bad. Like, it doesn't pull back from being a really reprehensible character. And whereas, we have films like Bad Moms, they're not that bad. Like, Billy Bob is bad. He's a bad person, and the people around him are bad. And they say some horrible, offensive things. Kathy Bates plays his mother, and she's almost trying to outgross him. Mm-hmm. And, and it was really tricky because, one, I saw this 2 weeks ago, and, a week and a half ago, and I'm not as fresh on it as I should be, and it hasn't been a movie that really stuck with me. Two, I saw it on the night that Trump had just been elected, and seeing that sort of really sexist, chauvinistic humour and racist humour and stuff really wasn't funny on that particular day. Yeah. And it's got some great people in it, like Christina Hendricks, but really they don't have that much to do and end up going down a path that serves the nastiness. And I feel like this film really is about the nastiness and outdoing the nastiness. And Thurman Merman is in there. It's a thrill to see him as an adult, and he lifts the film whenever he's on there, but he's not in there enough. And it's too focused on the nastiness, and for me doesn't have that heart that it needed. So I could tell, like, I saw it with Suzanne. She was unimpressed. I felt...
I'm going to say a big thank you to Suzanne for taking the bullet and seeing this one, because I did not want to.
I gave it 3 stars. There are some great lines in there. I do like the performances, but ultimately it is a pretty ugly movie, and it doesn't...
It was unlucky that it came out when it did, I guess.
And it doesn't expand on things in a way that... I feel like when you're doing a sequel that, especially when it's sort of 15 years down the track or whatever, I feel like we've talked about this sort of thing with something else recently. I can't remember what it was, though. But you have a chance to show how the world has changed. That character doesn't have to have changed. He can still... But the fact that Christina Hendricks ends up pretty much going down the same path as Lauren Graham's character in the first one, and the fact that those changing attitudes and stuff don't seem to really... Like, he doesn't get confronted by those things, where he had a lot to confront him in the first one. Also in the first one, you've got John Ritter, who's the owns the department store, or is the manager of the department store or whatever, and he's very nervous about Billy Bob's behaviour all the time. He's a very straight-laced person. And you don't have enough of that kind of character to balance it out. Also weird, because John Ritter's died, Bernie Mac's died. Like, you've had 2 people die from that first movie before this one. So, yeah, so a bit of a disappointment. I can't imagine I'll be doing Bad Santa 1 and 2 at Christmas, but I do like to watch the first one. I am still a big fan of that, and I'm going to make you watch it with me at some point.
Okay.
And they had a Bad Santa there in the audience before the show, because it was the preview, and he was sitting behind, like... this was before the movie.
Yeah. But
because he kept coming up and just sitting with people, and he was kind of like... Oh, did you see the first one? People are like, nah. He's like, yeah, this is probably the first film Billy Bob's done since that, and which is utter bullshit. Billy Bob's been like fucking killing it. So I thought, like, wow, that's not good for your PR, having this guy going around seeming very unexcited about what's happening and bad mouthing the star. I did a turn around and go, Billy Bob's been in a ton of stuff, Santa, but he ignored me.
Yeah.
Or didn't hear me or something.
Yeah. He was too drunk.
He was too drunk, yeah. So that was that. Now, we got a lot of TV to talk. Do you want to talk about The Crown?
So it's not a weird concept to say that Netflix have been absolutely killing it lately with all their original content. Like, as yet, I haven't seen anything bad come from Netflix original content. I actually watched a movie the other week. It's like Siege at Yaddowsville or something like that I didn't realise was an original movie. Fantastic.
With, our pal Jamie Dornan.
Yeah, it was really fantastic. And so their new one that just came out like a week ago or 2 weeks ago or something is The Crown, which tells the story of our current Queen, Queen Elizabeth II, and her sort of journey through, kind of growing up a little bit, to becoming the queen, having to deal with all of that shit at a very, quite a young age, and becoming the monarch that we know and, depending on your stance, love.
What's it called? Yes, Queen.
Yes, queen! Yeah, that's the, little...
The tagline.
The tagline, yeah.
Who plays the Queen?
Her name is Claire Foy. I don't know that I've seen her in anything particularly before, but she's very good. Really, really great. And she is obviously Queen Elizabeth. Playing opposite her as Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, is Matt Smith, which is absolutely fucking inspired casting. When I heard that he was playing Prince Philip, I was so thrilled, and he does an amazing job. They have really nice chemistry, and they both do a really great job.
Is she quite attractive?
Yeah.
Would she be better off on our money, do you think?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. See, the Queen on Our Money is when she's about 50 or 60, so I don't know what Claire Foy is going to look like when she's 50 or 60, so I'm just happy to keep the real Queen
Let's
at the
have
moment.
her now.
Huh?
Let's have how she looks now. I still reckon let's become a republic and get Margot Robbie on our money.
Yeah, maybe. But then, isn't that, being very ageist?
Yes.
We want, Naomi Watts or, Kate Blanchett. That's who I was trying to think of. I was like, yeah.
She's quite regal.
Yeah, exactly.
Not ageist. I have thought about getting Maggie Smith, the Dowager Countess.
Oh my God, yes.
Tattooed on my arm with all my other female characters.
But she'd overpower them.
Well, my only fear is that it would take too long and it would cost too much with all those wrinkles.
Yeah, okay.
So I thought, why don't I instead, to save money, and this is a tip for people who are thinking about this at home, I get the young Maggie Smith, but I get it tattooed on my nuts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it'll look pretty much the same.
Yeah. So, thanks for derailing my little TV chat.
Derailing or enhancing?
Yeah. So I'm actually only about halfway through, but at the moment, this is a really, really great series, and I guess you do have to take my opinion with a slight grain of salt. This kind of thing is something that I enjoy and that does interest me.
A royalist.
Yeah.
Got a lot of Union Jack bunting in the house.
Yeah, a little bit of a closet royalist.
Commemorative tea towels.
I have commemorative plates. I wish I was joking. Yeah, so I find this really interesting and it's really great. And I actually said to you when I was just starting to watch the first episode, look, I know what happens here, so I already know which characters not to get too invested in, because I know that they're going to, there's a bunch of people that are going to die during this period that this covers.
A Lady Di, it's right in the name.
What?
Lady Di.
Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't. I don't think it'll go quite that far. But, at the end of the first episode, I was like, well, I'm fucked. I'm already invested here. And, when stuff happened, I knew it was going to happen, and I still got upset. It's just that good.
Well, no spoilers, because the chances of our American listeners knowing anything about the history of the British royals is very, very slim.
Yes. My only minor criticism is they're starting to do it now where I'm up to, but her relationship with her grandma was quite a big part of her life, and her grandma was a fucking boss, and they only show that a little bit in this series. So I want more grandma. I think grandma's going to die.
So I'm looking forward to is, does she give birth to Charles?
Charles is already there.
Already there?
Yep.
So you don't see the birth?
No. She's got Charles and Anne. I don't. Edward's not been born yet.
I wanted to see her trying to pass those huge ears.
Oh, his little baby Charles is so cute in this.
Just straining.
So cute. And then, Prince Philip's trying to teach baby Charles how to kick a soccer ball, and he, kicks it into his nuts. It's great. Yeah, it's good.
Harry's first words, I want to be your... I can't even say it. No. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it a go.
Very, very highly recommended. Very much enjoy it. And it's just really, really nicely done. Very emotional and amazing performances. John Lithgow is playing Winston Churchill, which when he first appeared, I was like, what the fuck is this? But he is amazing. He's doing a great job.
I'll give it a John Lithgow.
Yep. And Bertie from Downton Abbey's in it.
Good old Bertie. I saw a show I'm excited about and I want to spread the word about because I think even if it's not a show for you and you're not going to watch it, that the fact that it exists is very interesting, particularly now in Donald Trump's America. But it's a show called Sweet Vicious. It's an MTV show, Sweet/Vicious. And it's about two college girls. One has green hair, is played by Bryan Cranston's daughter, which is very cool. And she's kind of a stoner hacker. And then the other one's sort of like this attractive sort of sorority house blonde girl. So they've got a bit of a Ghost World vibe, almost. And the blonde one, previous to sort of the show starting, was raped by one of her sorority sister's boyfriends and has never sort of come out and talked about it. But instead, she dresses up like a sort of all in black, kind of early Daredevil style, has a voice changer that makes her voice rough and deep, and she goes around beating the absolute shit out of frat boy sexual assaulters.
Right.
A lot of which, because nobody's doing or saying anything, and some of these guys are like athletes or really respected or gonna make it big and all this sort of stuff, and she goes and fucks them up quite violently, and basically the green-haired stoner hacker finds out that this is what's happening, sort of forces her way into becoming her Robin, and adventure ensues.
Yeah, right.
And it's sort of a little bit Kick-Ass, a little bit Scott Pilgrim, a little bit Daredevil, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's very witty, and just the fact that it exists, I think, is really, really awesome. The very strong female characters, and not just strong in we kick ass way, because although they do kick ass, those it's not like that takes up 80% of each episode. You know what I mean? They're actually really strong all the way around. Even some of the other sorority sisters, it's just really cool. I think that not like a big fan in real world, of course, of violence as a solution to anything, but I think it's a very clever sort of harnessing of that male power fantasy and pointing it in a different direction. And I think it shows you how silly that male power fantasy is when you go like, oh, Daredevil, we love Daredevil, Daredevil's great. These girls are beating up sexual like assaulters and rapists, but Daredevil beats up ninjas. It doesn't quite have the same weight. So I think it's really, really interesting show. It looks cool and very funny at times. If you do give it a go, definitely make sure you stick with it to the point where the two are actively working together, because I think once those two characters meet up and become a team, the whole thing lifts. Because like any show, you start watching it and you're looking at the people and going, do I really like these people? Is this, something I'm invested in? But after their first official kind of job together, I was like, yeah, this is pretty amazing.
Okay.
So can't recommend it more, really. That was my favorite new show I've seen for a while, actually. And TV's been fucking good. I enjoyed the shit out of Black Mirror, the third season of that, and sort of stumbled across this thing and really, really enjoyed it. So give Sweet Vicious a look. I'm totally on board with it, for sure. Now, set up the scene for this last little TV endeavour. Yeah.
Well, all right. So we have some favourite ladies on the podcast. One being Michelle Dockery, who was delightful Lady Mary, a bit of a mole, in Downton Abbey. And the other is obviously Hayley Atwell, Agent Carter, from various Marvel movies. And, Agent Carter got cancelled, Downton Abbey's finished now, and, ladies got to eat, right?
They do. They've got to pay the bills.
They do. So these guys have some new shows. Well, not really very new. Bad Behaviour, which is Michelle Dockery's show, has been out for a couple of weeks, and Conviction, which is Hayley Atwell's show, has been out for over a month now, I think. But we've only just summoned up the guts to watch these things. From their trailers, they look fucking terrible. And so, last night we sat down, steeled ourselves and watched Bad Behaviour and Conviction.
Now, my confession is that I had a tough week and I had a drink last night. Mm-hmm. I did drink a bottle of wine, and it was a bottle of wine that cost $4.20. So
$4.20
blaze it up. So by the time especially by the time I got to Conviction, I was really struggling to follow both of these shows.
Mate, I was sober and I was having trouble following
well, that's
them.
reassuring. Because I think by the time we got to Conviction, I was just at that point in my drinking where I was just like, Hayley Atwell, you're so beautiful. Oh. I just couldn't stop looking at Hayley Atwell, and then everything else was just awful. So you might want to lead the discussion on this.
Okay, so we started off with Bad Behaviour, Michelle Dockery show. I think we got to about halfway through. Neither of us knew what the fuck was actually happening. So you looked up a summary of sorts, which was far worse than anything we could have actually imagined the show was about. So she's like an addict of some kind. Her name's Lottie.
She's a crackhead.
She's a crackhead at the end of the episode. She gets herself some crack. But she's like
a con artist.
She's a con artist,
a grifter.
thief. And she kind of is going to hotel rooms and stealing people's stuff or something.
A wig enthusiast.
Yes, she wears lots of wigs, and she overhears a conversation that she's not meant to hear about some guy who's going to kill some other guy's wife for money or whatever.
Kicks,
anyway.
Shits and giggles.
Yeah, and so her plan was to... I don't really know. To steal this guy's wallet or something.
She intervenes.
She sort of intends to intervene and then doesn't, and then ends up talking to him, and then goes out for dinner, and then she fucks him.
Yeah.
And then she intervenes in the hit, and then she smokes some crack, and then that's the end of the episode. kind of.
So highly recommended, obviously.
No, and then the guy kind of catches up with her and is like, you're a goddamn junkie and now you work for me. And then that was the end of the episode, and it was like, oh, okay.
Well,
and it's weird, like she's got a kid or something, and it's staying with her mum, and her mum won't let her see her kid because she's a crackhead. And it was just like not overly interesting, not an endearing character at all.
There's just so much better out there. Is it a network thing? Because network TV
it's TNT.
Sucks. I think, if anything, it's just a great summation of the types of things we've been speaking about all episode. Like this idea of gauging an actor based on a particular performance or character or whatever, which is nonsense because she's so perfect for Lady Mary and is just so enjoyable. And whereas this, if I'd watched this with no other context for Michelle Dockery, I wouldn't have a crush on her.
No.
I wouldn't look twice at her. But I absolutely love her as Lady Mary. So it also is that thing about old-timiness and classiness.
Yes, classiness.
Being really sexy and being really attractive. Because there's nothing classy about this. And she doesn't...
When she's rummaging through the bushes, sticking her fingers down her throat to make herself throw up.
And she's in her underwear a lot. She
is.
shows so much more skin than Lady Mary ever has. But Lady Mary is a billion times more attractive.
Yeah. Absolutely. I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going back to The Crown, there's a lot of Matt Smith bum in it.
Oh, great.
Lots of it.
Well, if that hadn't convinced you before...
A surprising amount of Matt Smith bum, actually.
Prince Philip. Love to get his bum out.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely not really recommended. I mean, you were just sort of saying that, you shouldn't always judge a show by its first episode, but yeah, maybe we can.
Oh no, but the first episode of Sweet Vicious is good. But it took me halfway through the episode. There was a point where I went, yes, I'm in this. And so, no, I think there are enough really wonderful first episodes out there.
Yeah.
TV's just so good these days. You shouldn't have to sit through crap.
Yeah.
There's no need, because if you went and watched the first episode of Black Mirror, you'd be like, Fuck yes, give me more of that, son. Or the first episode of Fargo, or the first episode of Master of None. Or, there's just so many things out there which are great. That I can't imagine going back to this. The only thing that would take me back for this would have been Michelle Dockery, but there's just not enough. And it's the same with...
It's like taking someone like her, giving her an American accent, is just like basically taking a scourer to her and getting rid of everything that was nice.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's just nothing there anymore.
No, it's not a good fit for her at all. Like, why do you want to see Lady Mary playing like a crackhead? It's just no good. I can imagine, absolutely understand that's probably exactly why she wants to do it. Because I've been Lady Mary, now let me be an American crackhead. Because it's so different.
Yeah.
But the material's not strong enough.
No. But, on the plus side, if Julian Fellows does want to come back and do a series 9? It would be? Anyway. Or, a reunion movie. I think she's going to be free after the end of this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see it hanging around.
No.
And then Conviction, like, it's not as bad. It's more cohesive.
Yeah, I found Conviction much more watchable. However, it was still shit.
Oh, it's just not for us. It's like for mums and dads, like our mums and dads.
But even then, like, even if I watch, like, SVU or one of those kind of shows, like, they're so much better constructed. But again, this is the first episode, but it's about she joins some team where they go back and look at old cases of people who are in prison just to make sure that basically the jury or whatever made the right decision, and if people are innocent then they'll get them freed and all of that sort of thing. And so it is a bit of a procedural kind of getting the clues and working out what's going on and then having a resolution at the end. But the actual case felt so weird and rushed that when they actually discovered what they needed to discover, it just felt so unsatisfying, and it just kind of went, oh, okay, great, done, bang, over. It's like, oh, shit, okay.
It's just got that ugly network sheen and so many actors that just don't have that presence. Like, they look like cheap people. And
like the Ashmore brother. I don't even know which one he is.
Oh, not even him so much, but the guy that she nearly kissed and stuff.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
Yeah.
Generic handsome man.
Oh, yeah, he just looked creepy. I just think that she's better than that. Like, it's Hayley Atwell. She should be in movies and stuff and not doing some shitty network show.
Yeah. I get it probably has to do with how up in the air the whole Agent Carter thing was.
Yeah.
That she just felt like she had to get something and got offered this and went, oh, this will be easy. But again, I think she's going to be pretty free after the end of this first season.
I mean, great that she's in a position to lead a show. I can see the attraction there, but I don't know. And it's not like with Marvel, really, apart from being able to do Agent Carter, but the actual films themselves didn't really give her a huge amount to do. So, I don't know. I'd like to see her... Like, Disney should fucking throw her something. They should give her Star Wars or something like that. And not like a bit part either. Like, I'd like to see her do something like, what Felicity Jones is doing with Rogue One.
Yeah.
Like, I think she's that sort of person. But yeah, last night I was just too in love with her. She's just great.
Yeah. Oh, she looked amazing.
She looks so great. It's so weird. Like, when I watched... She looks amazing in Captain America, but when I watched that film for the first time, I didn't come out of it going, oh, I love Hayley Atwell. But there's just something that it's just grown over time. I think when I realised maybe how big her boobs are.
You're so awful.
She's fantastic, though. No, she's really cool.
And she's... Out of the two, she's better with an American accent.
Yeah, actually, yeah. She slips into the role a lot more. And to be fair, I just talked about her boobs, but she talks about her boobs a couple of times in the show.
She does.
In that episode that we watched. They are drawn attention to. Yeah, so never watching those again, don't bother. Well, we do need to talk about Westworld, but I want to break away from TV just for a moment to talk about Pokemon Moon. Because that was released during the week. Pokemon Sun and Moon, brand new Pokemon game. I picked it up. You've been very cynical and rude about my Pokemon adventure.
Yep.
You've
Because
been
Pokemon's boring, dude.
Look, at times it is. Like, at times it really is.
Yeah.
Like, I've been playing it for quite a while now, and I think you get fooled into thinking, oh, new Pokemon game, so everywhere I go, there'll be brand new Pokemon. There will all these creatures I've never seen before. And, 10 hours into it or whatever, I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff I've seen before. There are Alolan, because that's the name of the island, versions. I'm probably fucking that up and people will be crying. But look, I'm 40 years old. Just be amazed I even know what a Pokemon is. Yeah, like versions of some of the Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. I've seen pictures of them.
Yeah, like
the Executor. And,
like there is a palm tree.
Yeah.
And the Rattata has got like a mow.
Oh, cool.
But the improvements are really great. Like, there's some really fun things in there. Just the interface is a lot sharper and doesn't make you go through so many menus and stuff. Like, it's more intuitive as to what you want to do. But you've got these, like, Z-Ring and Z-Ring powers and things, and they're really powerful powers that you can only do once per fight. But if you're just fighting some random garbage Pokemon that's you've already got and has just turned up, or just a battle with somebody on the side of the road who's just got one Pokemon and you just want it over with, you just use that move and you just fucking destroy them. Except the problem there is the animation is beautiful but really long. So you just keep seeing it again and again. So there's part of me that feels like 10 hours in, and I look at my team of 6, maybe 3 of them are new to the game, and none of them are that special. Like, and the other 3, I've got like a Magneton type, first generation Pokemon dude, and I got a cool donkey guy, he's awesome.
Okay.
But what I wanted to say about it, to really sort of bring it up, is just this idea that they are really weird games. Like, it is a really messed up world. And I don't mean in that way that people say all the time about, oh, there's kids and they're making animals fight and stuff. I mean, we've over that now.
Yeah.
But they have things like, have you heard of the Battle Buffet?
No.
Okay, so you go into a shopping mall.
Yes.
And there's a food court. And they've got this buffet of all this food. And it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, but there's a total catch. So you have to pay $1,200 to go to this buffet. And there's 10 rounds, and you go up and you see some food, and it's like the chef's like, would you like some chancy steak? And you're like, yeah, shit, I would. And then the person next to you goes, I want that steak. And then the fight is on.
Right.
And if you don't get any food, your $1,200 is gone. There is no guarantee that you are even eating a bite. So
Jesus.
There are preschoolers at this thing as well. So there are hungry preschoolers going, oh, but I really want to eat that thing. And you're like, well, fucking bring it on, son. And then they spurt out their little dancing flower. I've got the hot cat, the fire cat. I know I'm going to burn that thing to shreds. Hungry preschooler. Meanwhile, I've got 10 plates of food. Like, my character is this skinny little blonde waif woman. She's not going to be able to eat all that. And still, I'm just like fighting animals in a buffet restaurant, denying hungry preschoolers any food to get my, like, $1,200 worth. It is insane. Like, it's a world gone absolutely mad. But that was my starter. I chose the Litten.
Okay.
Because he's fully lit. He's a kitten. He's hot. I called him Hot Puss.
Okay.
I regret that. I wish I'd called him Lil Hot Puss. So I think that would have been even better. Wouldn't let me have Pussy, but it did let me I caught my first Miltank.
Okay.
You know, the cow one with the big dirty udders. And I called it Titty Juice. It allowed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I did like about Pokemon, is trying to get around the swears filter as to what it would let you. It does let you do Clunge, I'm pretty sure.
Really, as long as you just string it together in a sentence, like, I got a rog.
Or if you do like regional slang, like it doesn't pick up a lot of regional slang.
Well, I got a rog and roller, which is like this rock with a kind of hole in the middle, and I called it Dick Goes Here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fine.
Yeah, cool.
It's like, yeah, bring it.
Yeah.
I think I've got a knob gobbler.
I had a knob gobbler, I think. Yeah.
Cumbeak.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. It's fine with it.
Yeah.
I've got a poon hound.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember what. I had a lot of my other ones because that would involve me having to find my DS and charge it and find the game, which I'm not really prepared to do.
Well, remember there was that news story about how fuck was no longer legally offensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I could probably call it fuckface on my Australian
maybe.
region Pokemon.
Yeah. All my Pokemon Go ones, because there's no filter, they're all called gross stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yours are grosser than mine.
Yeah.
That's a feat. So, I am enjoying it. It's got some wacky humour in it too, which I just wasn't expecting. I get to ride around on a Tauros or like some big Scottish Terrier thing. It's pretty cool. Like, I'm addicted.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it. So, if anyone else out there is Pokemoning, actually, if anyone out there is Pokemoning and knows what they're doing, then help me out here. Like, let me know what I should be doing. I do actually have a pretty good resource at work for finding this out. But I feel like maybe I faff around too much in the long grass, grinding and stuff, whereas if I just went straight through all the objectives, maybe I should do that first and then come back and faff around. Because I got a lot of gubbins in there, like in my team. So, I don't know. But anyway, Battle Buffet, that'll hopefully be one of Trump's first things that he puts in.
Yeah, right. Is that before or after the Hunger Games?
It's kind of an interesting variant, actually, isn't it? What about a film? Battle Buffet.
Okay, so a bit like Battle Royale, which was basically Hunger Games.
Starring Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
And Chris Pratt.
Sure.
He's going to win.
Doesn't matter. Whoever wins, we all win.
I wouldn't put money on Michelle Dockery in the Battle Buffet.
No. She looked like she certainly needed the money from the show because she hadn't eaten for a while.
Yeah.
Isn't that like such a shame? Like
a body shame?
Yeah, no, it is. It is a bit of body shame, but it's a shame that it's like go to Hollywood body standards, take all your clothes off. It's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I think like surely 99.9% of bodies in the world are pretty gross.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the ones that aren't tend to not maintain it because it's like you got to work hard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
What a hot take.
Controversial opinions.
You have to work out to get a good body. What?
Hey, it's Sunday. I don't give a fuck.
I just want to go home and watch more Crown.
I want to play more Pokemon. But we have to talk about one more thing. That's Westworld. So there's going to be major spoilers, more so than ever, because there were some reveals for episode, what was it, 7?
Yeah, sure.
Something like that. Last week's episode of Westworld. That's coming up. If you're not going to be spoiled, then thanks for listening. Rate reviewers on iTunes. Go to our Patreon. Go to our Facebook discussion page. You can find links to all of that at fruitlesspursuits.com. Also, I think there's a book was better coming up soon. Courtney and I. Courtney's read Star Trek Nemesis.
Yeah, right.
And is just finishing up the notes. I'm going to go in cold like I do when we do the BWB TV so that I can speculate and theorise all the way through.
Yeah, I think once Christmas holidays start, I've got one that I'll have lined up that I think, maybe we'll have a bit of a Christmassy lean, so we'll...
Christmassy lean.
Kind of. So I think we'll have another BWB TV by the end of the year.
Oh, and people curious as well as to whether we're going to do the Star Wars Lego Christmas Advent Calendar on our Facebook page. We usually get a lot of traffic through that where people want to know what ships actually are, get things identified, and also hear some commentary and sort of have a bit of an Advent adventure with us, I have bought it. I have secured it. I do have one. The calendar is downstairs. Looking forward to December 1st when I can pop that baby open.
I'm looking forward to December 1st because I'm just going to, like, dive head first into a trough of Hallmark Christmas movies like a little piggy.
I think a trough is a pretty good way to describe that. Alright, so Westworld spoilers are starting.
No.
It was a good one. I was quite glad to see things advancing in an interesting way.
Yes. It was a shock that something actually happened. That was nice.
Yeah. Something that I think we all knew was going to happen at some point. The idea that somebody that we thought wasn't a robot turned out to actually be a robot did happen. I don't know why. For some reason, I've always felt if they were going to do that, that Bernard was the most likely...
Yeah. I kind of clicked to it probably about halfway through the episode when they showed that tech guy as being someone who you would have assumed to be a human ended up being a host. And I went, well, okay, so if there's one guy, there's no way that he's the only one.
No.
So, and then I was thinking, well, who would it be? And then really the most obvious answer is the hosts, like, what's her face, the blonde one, and Maeve have been shown to be dreaming. Who's the only other person that we've seen to be dreaming? And that's Bernard.
Interesting as well, if you're going to bring that up. The idea that there was that episode a couple of weeks back which was really about backstories. And it showed Bernard's backstory with his son. It showed Teddy getting a new backstory out of nowhere. So both of those we now know are manufactured backstories. But the third backstory that we were given in that episode was for Ford. And involved Arnold. So I think that's interesting too. What if Ford is...
What if Arnold had succeeded in...
Yeah, Ford is the robot that reached sentience.
Yeah,
because that's what Arnold wanted to do. So Ford doesn't know that he's a robot. I think he's going to have to take his clothes off and have a dig around in there.
Yeah, maybe.
So that we can all be sure in front of a jury.
I don't know if I really want to see Anthony Hopkins' bits.
Why not? He's a sir. He's a great actor.
He's a sir, but...
And the amount of time he's been sitting there opposite naked people. Like, come on.
Well, yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Equality. Get your kid off, Sir Hopkins. Get your kid off.
Well, it's a HBO show. Like, everyone needs to get their gear off at some point.
Let us see the proof. So, that was very interesting. I wasn't expecting the money lady to be killed as soon as she was, because she's a great character. So that was a bit unfortunate, but... I
mean, what now for the finances?
Well, they were already in trouble, if you ask me.
Well,
so now, without that, we're in big trouble. Though I do love the emergence of this character that is played by Tessa Thompson, who's the CEO who was having sex with one of the robots. She was the lead in Creed. Not playing Creed, the female lead in Creed.
Yes.
And she's also going to be playing Valkyrie? I never get that right. I know somewhere Courtney's head's exploding listening to this. Valkyrie.
Yeah, either or. People know what you mean.
In Thor.
Yeah.
In Thor 3, Ragnarok. And I think she's amazing. I think she's a very talented and quite endearing young lady. And to see her being this kind of force of menace. And nice to see, like, the CEO being someone who's young and attractive and of colour. Nice twist. It's not just like another old white man, like Trump-looking dude. So, So she was using the other lady to transmit the data because they want to shut Ford down. And Ford, who now is coming across as a bit of an Emperor Palpatine, is sort of building his clone army with his 3D printer in the basement. So I don't know what anyone's endgame is, and that's good. That's an interesting place to be, I suppose.
Yeah, because if we're at 7, then there's only a couple left for this season.
We assume 10.
Yeah. So they've already been greenlit for season 2, so great. That's cool. It's going to continue. But, yeah, it's interesting to see how they're going to kind of wrap up this season and what we're going to learn and what's going to be resolved.
Yes.
Who is in charge of the money now?
Yeah.
That is the important thing.
Who's signing those checks? Because you know that even in the future, America will still be using checks. With pieces of paper. I owe you this much money because they don't trust their government. And why would you now?
Absolutely.
Every time you go to a bank, Trump eats that money.
He does. It just, like, goes into his big, like, garbage can maw. It's
Yeah.
like,
It goes through a series of pipes
Yep.
to the White House where he's sitting in his underwear, pussy in each hand, mouth open,
Yep.
eating all your savings. Gosh.
Yep.
There's a cartoon for the cover of the New Yorker.
And what did they do with Maeve this episode? I can't even remember.
Maeve. Well, don't get me started. Well, they did stuff to Clem.
They did, yeah.
That was rough. That was really hard to watch when she got beat up. And then she beat up the dude, and then they drilled, like...
They lobotomised
her
her.
nose.
Yeah. Poor Clem. She never asked for any of that.
No. So, Maeve wants to escape. She wants to get on the outside world.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like, sort of Deus Ex situation.
Yeah. Surely they just won't survive, right?
We don't really know what's out there.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Is it a awful wasteland? Is it a post-Trump America?
Could be. Could be. You know what? Like, this is just getting me back to Sweet Vicious. I hope that Sweet Vicious survives to a whole second season so that they can take down a sexual assault bragging president. Like, put in that, you know, like, take target at that sort of character. Someone that's gotten away with it and is, you know, in a position of power. And let them ninja into that White House like Nightcrawler. You know? I think that's really interesting. Yeah. So, Westworld, it's got robots in it. It's a world set predominantly in the West.
Yep.
But in the West of what?
Yeah. Still no Prince Caspian this episode. There was a Hemsworth. I'm finding McPoyle the intern and Dolores a bit boring at the moment. Yeah.
I don't know what their goal is.
No, I'm not really sure either. Like, I think he's getting kind of really invested in the world in a way that he wasn't expecting to, just because he kind of is into her, even though he knows that he probably shouldn't really be into her.
Yeah, that's what I don't get, is that just what are the limits of that suspension of disbelief? Because like when they're on the train and they're like, oh shit, we're going into scary territory and we've got to, you know, he looks so scared all the time.
Like, he can't die, and even if she dies, she's gonna fucking reboot and he can just go and get another one.
Yeah, why isn't he just like, I don't give a damn.
Yeah, just walk out there and just shoot some guys in the face. That's what the Man in Black does. He's like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. And he even tells them all the time, you're a dumb robot. And they're like,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything
He's
to
like,
me.
what's a robot?
Yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of strange to me. And I don't get it. And we've talked about how cynical people are just even now. You know? Can you imagine? They'd be like, oh, you don't look real. Oh, that jacket's from the wrong era. Because of the stitching. Dickhead. So, I don't know. Anyway, alright, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Lazy Sunday.
Well, not so lazy. It's been a big episode.
Yeah, it's been a big episode. We covered a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
A lot of opinions. A lot of controversial, groundbreaking opinions.
Yeah. I mean, not as controversial as last week with Trump is bad, Christmas is good. Pretty controversial.
That was pretty controversial.
But yeah, okay.
Alright.
Cool.
Okay.
I don't know what we've got next week.
Oh, next week's a weird one because there's no sort of big release happening.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's Michael Keaton's The Founder.
Yeah.
I was disappointed. I don't know if that's a big screen job. Was disappointed to find out he's not actually playing the Hamburglar, which is what I
Such a shame.
originally had assumed.
Yeah.
If anybody's got any ideas...
Yeah, I was hoping to maybe see if The Light Between Oceans was still on at the cinema, but then again, it's not one that I'm like really, really psyched to see. I want to see it,
Okay.
but you know...
think of the number out of 10 of how excited you are to see that, and then divide it by
3.
about 3 for me.
Yeah, okay.
Light Between Oceans. That was the... Who's in that?
That's the Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander find a baby and... Yeah.
Oh, they find a baby.
Yeah, yeah.
A sea baby.
A sea baby.
A water baby.
Yeah, it might have superpower. It might have secret powers. And that's like...
No, I'm not falling for that
again. It beams a light out of its head. And so they stick it in the top of their lighthouse and it just generates power. And then they think they have to give it up. And they're like, no, our light baby. Yeah. See, look, that sounds good, doesn't it?
I have flashbacking to the trailer, divided by 5.
Oh. But yeah, I don't think there's much else out.
Nah.
This week. I'll have to find something. We'll have to go back through the archives and find some other shitty 2016 movie to watch. Or maybe I'll just watch The Crown.
There's not much that we've missed, is there? I would have liked to have seen Shin Godzilla. I never saw that.
Oh, that was on here for like one weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A busy weekend.
Always busy weekends.
Always.
With busy, high-flying people.
Well, like bees, we're so busy.
Oh, you mean like we're dying off by the thousands?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we'll find something to watch. You can suggest us things if you want. But yeah.
Okay.
Or we can just go and see Fantastic Beasts again.
I want to see Doctor Strange in 3D.
Yeah. Like, I can't, like, in theory, yes. But the idea of paying, like, $30 to go and see Doctor Strange again is a bit...
To see I want to see how Benedict's face works in 3D.
Yeah.
Because I've never been able to get my head around its complex geometry.
I'd like to see Fantastic Beasts in 3D, actually. I think that'd be quite fun.
It would. We can have this discussion off air. Bye!
Bye! Camera.